I went and committed a number of crimes, shootings, went and, burnt the clubhouse and, set fire car bomb. So I got done, bro. I had two pistols, bro, out of 22 down the front. This guy just got put like 40 holes into him, sitting right in front of me, a guy across the other pod nicked himself. And then I witnessed someone get knocked, and this is like my first month, docs.
All that talk to my gang pull up, when we pull up, and they all dip.
Yo, it's your boy King Dave here, and this is the Felon Show. Hope all is going well. How about you introduce yourself, Brian? Where you from?
Mark Talanoa. I am co-founder of Road to Redemption. I reside here in Christchurch, Otatahi, New Zealand. It's a pleasure to be on the Felon Show. We've done a few podcasts, but I just want to acknowledge and thank you, Doko, for allowing me to come and share my journey, and also for the transformation and changes that you've made, bro, since we've connected in the last 3 years that we've connected, bro. You've made a lot of changes, and look at you now with this Felon Show exploding. You're doing a thing, but it's a pleasure to be on the show, brother.
Yeah, it's a pleasure to have you on once again, man. Yes, I mean, this guy been back and forth a little bit, man, doing all our featuring duets and whatnot, bro. Like,
let's go.
But so I've actually had Docs on here before, man. He was one of my earlier episodes, but I thought I'd have him on again, and because back then I wasn't on my editing game like I am now. Yeah, man. Yeah, so my skills have up leveled a bit since then, man. We're grinding, so I thought I'd have him on again and share a story. I mean, Mark Talanoa here, honestly, man, he's a big part of why I'm even doing this. He was doing this before me. He's got a podcast as well, so go check that out. But yeah, this dude was a big part of it. He gave me my opportunity at first to speak my truth, and that led on to Supplement Warfare podcast and Manu and Lance over there. Big love to them, man. So man, I mean, I wouldn't be doing none of this. Well, I found you through, when you were featured on the Masiroka and Hooligan Hef video. You made an appearance on there. So when I saw you through that, and I saw your journey on YouTube with your videos that you were uploading in the back of your car, man, you know what I mean, during your lunch breaks and that, that's what got set it all in motion for me, man. So big love for the brother here. But yeah, man, so where you originally from, brother? Where'd you grow up?
So I grew up East Auckland, GI boy, Glen Innes. Yeah, so Glen Innes was like a low socioeconomic sort of area, a lot of islanders and Māori. Most of our parents, either worked in factories or manual labor sort of jobs. My parents immigrated from Tonga to give us, in search for a better life. There's 8 of us. But growing up in East Auckland, bro, there wasn't much to do, but it was. We didn't have much. We didn't need much. Most of the boys in the area are getting up to no good. So these are the sort of role models that we sort of had. Grew up in a house full of there's 8 of us, so 4 boys, 4 girls. So crazy sort of household dynamics. Mum and dad were doing their best, working 2 jobs back to back just to provide. And all we seen around us was people on drugs and abusing alcohol and getting caught up into that sort of street life. But that was sort of my experience of my upbringing, and it was no surprise that I always say this in all my talks, that out of 7 of my childhood mates, 5 of us ended up in the system, from shootings, robberies, assault, all the way up to murder. And brother of mine, D local, home soon. He's serving. This is his 16th year. He's doing his last sort of courses, and he'll hopefully be home soon. So I'm hoping that he jumps on the sort of same sort of path I'm on with Road to Redemption. But that was our sort of upbringing, Dave? There wasn't much to do. So we just looked at our role models that we had at the time, and they were just older brothers, cousins, just getting caught up to no good, really. But I wouldn't change it for the world, Wouldn't change it for the world.
So, what was sort of your childhood and going on into your teenage years? Like, I know that sports was a big part of your life, and how was that mixing with the street life and things like that out in GI?
Yeah, so mum did her best with intervening, and she's seen the sort of my talent, which was playing rugby union. Played Auckland, through the development squad, 12, 13, 14. So she sent us off to boarding school, me and my brother, and we went there, and my sister Phyllis. We went there and we did 5-day boarding over in Wesley College, but would come back would come back to the hood, you know, for the weekends or for Friday, Saturday, and then obviously get mixed up in sort of antisocial sort of behavior with the boys, you know, age 13, you know, drinking and you know, stealing cars and robbing people, and that was just normal to us. You know, that's pretty much all we knew. We didn't have much, so we thought, or what I was taught from the older boys was, if you want something, you go out and you take it. You know, by whatever means necessary. But going back to Wesley College, and that was kind of, you know, getting that sort of discipline, that sort of structure, but always coming back to the area. You're just always going to get caught up into some sort of shifty behavior. So that was my sort of experience, bro. But mum intervened and she put us on a one-way ticket to over to Sydney, Australia when I was what, 14, me and my brother. And then that sort of opened up, you know, my world, doors to all different kinds of opportunities over there in Sydney. Eh?
Yep, yep. So that's definitely a massive move, man. Going from GI to Sydney. I remember me myself, you know, moving to Melbourne. It was just like, whoa, you know what I mean? Because yeah, I was getting into a little bit of trouble as well, you know what I mean? Didn't really have a choice in the matter. I had to go to Australia. Definitely didn't want to go though, you know what I mean? But then ended up going there. Like it was a big change for me, eh? Like hated
Unreal.
it at first, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like hated
Same,
Australia at
same.
first. It flipped over though when I got deported and then came back and I was like, shit, I don't want to be here
I
anymore.
miss
But
it. I miss it.
yeah. So I mean, yeah. So how was your experiences, man, of going to GI from going to Sydney, man?
Just the whole perspective, though, because when you're stuck in a little place, little town like GI, man, it's so small, and your perspective is so your perspective and your perception of the world is so like a little bubble, you know. But when you go to the land down under, Sydney, man, like that place is so huge, and we're just spinning out. Believe it or not, I used to have long blonde hair. You can't imagine that now, but when I was 14 and we got on that plane, got off that plane in Sydney, bro, it was a spin out, and like yourself, I hated it, hey Dave, hated it, bro. Like we knew no one, didn't have no connection to the area, just had no friends. So we just stayed with my auntie. My dad was out working out west, but we just stayed with our auntie over in Bronte, bro, Bondi, right next to Bondi. So it was a spin out. We went down the beach, you know, golden sand. It was wasn't used to seeing sand and the waves, and then topless girls. And I always remember telling my brother, I said, "Man, this is not bad, eh? It's not bad at all." But it wasn't until we started connecting and networking, going to school, that we're like, "Oh, no, we love this place now," you know. And then every time we used to come back home, back to GI, we're like homesick. We wanted to get back on the plane after a week, you know.
So you obviously got into league over there. So how was it, how did the whole sporting thing go for you over there?
Yeah, we're good, bro. Thriving and we didn't want to play union because most of our friends were playing league, and obviously Sydney being a league dominant state city. My brother went over to South Sydney Rabbitohs. I stayed with the junior Roosters and worked my way up through the system, the development system. Played what 14s all the way to 20s, and my brother went all the way from same sort of thing, but he debuted for the South Sydney Rabbitohs at age 18. So no, we're doing all right, man. But the pressure was on me to crack it and make NRL as well. You know, I'm 16 and I think, oh shit, now Tools has made it. My brother, I got to crack it too. You know, so I kind of self sabotaged myself, and as I always did when I was younger, I'd always self sabotage myself either through drinking, drugs, girls, and then that sort of had that ripple effect, leading on to injuries, and then got to the age of 21, and I just quit rugby league. I just had enough of the pressure. I didn't love the game, and that sort of transitioned into the next phase of my life when I went on a sort of downward spiral.
So where did it move on to you, brother? So from you know, from league and leaving league, then what did you start doing with yourself?
Yeah, so as soon as I stopped playing league, well, I went and opened two nightclubs promotion company with my business partner, and you know, being the age of what 22, I had two nightclubs that were kind of managing. Started selling drugs, joined the bikie gang. As you know, being in Sydney or being in Australia, there's bikies every single bloody street you drive down, eh? So clicked up with a few boys that I knew over there. I think just to fill that sort of void of belonging. You know, I grew up in a um, playing footy all my life, or I went to boarding school and that sort of structure, you know, that discipline and around mateship and brotherhood. And then I moved that to rugby league, and you got that camaraderie, you know, same thing, brotherhood, belonging. And then, you know, I got to fill that void somehow. So I found that in um, joining a bikie gang, and that sort of opened up doors to all different sort of dark areas in my life. And you know, I've got introduced to meth, and bro, my whole world just flipped upside down 1,000 times. Went on a quick downward spiral. I was selling drugs. I was on the drugs. I was managing 2 nightclubs. I was partying bloody every other day.
Can you speak on that at all, bro? Like what ended up landing you in jail and sort of the backstory to that at all?
Yeah, just got on a. I wanted to leave the bikie gang where I was with, and obviously you can't just leave and say goodbye. And I had this sort of misunderstanding with a few of the members, and I went and committed a number of crimes, shootings. Went and you know, burnt the clubhouse, and you know, set fire, car bomb, and a few other charges I'm not too proud of, but you know, it's part of my journey, it's part of my story. And I served the time for it. When got put away for all up, I got 9.5 years. So I got 5.5 years on the bottom, but that's what I got charged with, and sort of yeah, served my time over there and all over in, New South Wales prisons. But that experience was, you know, was something else. Hey,
Also, how was it, man, entering the prison system and especially on your the sort of charges that you were involved in as well. Like, so how was it, man, going into the prison system?
oh, bro, I had to go in at the wrong time, mate, especially in Sydney. Sydney was popping off, bro. Sydney was going off with shootings left, right, and center. So I was one of the first ones to get sentenced when, bro, there was like 100 drive-by shootings. I got done with, bro. I had 2 pistols, bro. I had a 22 down the front, 38 down the back. Remember, I'm so paranoid, fearing for my life. I had like magazines, bro, like 50 bullets on each side.
Wow.
Broad daylight. Like I was just, all right, I was down to, you know, kill or be killed. But this was my sort of mindset. I was a massive bender, you know, just didn't want to go to sleep, still on the ice. And that was my sort of, you know, mindset, you know, kill or be killed, you know, by whatever means necessary, just to protect my family. Um, and then yeah, I got done by Raptor. Um, and then that sort of going into jail at what age 22, bro. That experience was because I was coming down, Dave, coming down off the meth, and you get put into Darcy and Silverwater Correctional Centre. That's where you go and sort of get your intake and find out your sort of associations. And I was in Darcy one, and that place is just, bro, it's like a circus in there, you know, full of animals. Like it's like dry cell, uh, clear sort of perspex doors and windows, perspex at the back, with just holes, 2 concrete beds, and your toilet. I was honestly, Dave, I was thinking, bro, how am I going to do 10 years of this? Because every day just felt like a month. Like I'm coming down off ice. I'm just stressing. I just start like, you know, abusing the guards, all because I wanted to just talk to my family, you know, because I haven't heard from them in like, bro, days. So I started flooding my cell, lit my cell on fire, and then um, the squad came and got me and chucked me into the cell and left the lights on. For like, I think it was like 48 hours, bro. Left me naked in there, no toilet paper, no food. Like, bro, I seriously thought I was in a movie. There's that movie Hurricane. Have you seen Hurricane?
Yeah. Yeah.
Bro, that's the movie that I just kept replaying in my head. So I'm there in the cell, bro, like butt naked, just training, because that's all I could remember. Like I'm fried, coming down. I'm just doing push-ups. I'm doing burpees, just to stay warm, but just to show them that I'm not breaking. But inside, bro, I was so broken, And I was lucky that a Māori screw came past, and he's like, "Hey, what are you doing without no you know, no food, no blanket, no mattress?" And I was like, "Bro, I was lit on fire." So what's going on?" I said, "Bro, I'm coming down off the ice. You know, my first time in jail. All I want to do is speak to my parents, bro."
Mm.
And he's like, "Nah, sweet, I got it." So he got it sorted, and that's when I started you know, calming down. And it wasn't until I got to the mainstream I was shitting myself, you know. heaps of the boys were saying, as soon as you leave Darcy, the real jail begins, and it's a lot easier than being in Darcy. Because in Darcy, you're just like you're in Sego, but 23-hour lockdown. You're only allowed out for 15 minutes, phone call, an hour, if you're lucky. Um, but as soon as I got to Parkley and ran into my uncle and sallied up with him and ran into a few cousins in the same yard and a few boys from the area, I was pretty sweet. Um, but that experience in itself, like in the first, bro, I think it was the first month, I witnessed like this guy just got put like 40 holes into him, sitting right in front of me. A guy across the other pod nicked himself, and then I witnessed someone get knocked. And this is like my first month, docs,
Wow,
bro.
crazy.
I'm thinking, man, I'm in it here, and like I told you the last time is you have to become like insane to maintain your sanity in there. Because if you don't level up to the environment, you're in there with some violent people, like murderers, violent people. Um, if you don't become this sort of person that I didn't want to be, but I had to become that person just to um, basically protect myself. The sort of lessons I took from that time in jail was just to be grateful, man. Just having like a pillow, linen, a mattress, a doona, food in your stomach, a TV, all these things that we take for granted. Speaking to your family, like little things like that. That's the sort of lessons, or a lot of lessons and realizations that I took from that experience in prison. Because it's a funny place, eh? Like you're in there with some, I've met some pretty good brothers in there that I could call friends, lifetime friends, but just if you get into the sort of politics, if we just say that word around jail and jail culture, and it's just I really do feel sorry for a lot of our brothers because I do believe they're just there's a lot of men in there that just haven't healed from their childhood trauma, if you know what I mean, dogs. Like there's a lot of broken brothers and sisters inside the system that just haven't really um unpacked sort of what happened to them or what they seen or the area that they grew up in or how their parents were towards them. That sort of trauma that's sort of been shoved to the side and it's been capped with drugs and violence and or we could go on and on. But that was my experience of sort of prison and yeah, I found myself in just before I got out, bro. I went into a drug induced psychosis where caused by meth. Because while I was in there, I was just partying, bro. Like all you do is just train all week, organize the drop, get the drop, sell the drop, smoke the drop, and that was my week to week inside prison. So I went in on a drug induced psychosis, and my last year and a half, I went into one of the worst drug induced psychosis that I've from memory. I started going some very horrific and violent things to other inmates in there, and I just went into this mental dark place where, bro, I was visualizing about killing people, not just killing people, eating people. Dogs. Like this is the frame of mind that I went to. I was put into a high dependency unit. It's like a spinner's pod in Silverwater. 8 of the most mentally unstable inmates, and I found myself there, Shana, like in a cell. I'm heavily dosed on antipsychotics. They've got me on antipsychotics for 8 weeks. They were trying to figure out my meds, because nothing was working on me, docs. Like I'm in my cell, 666 all over the walls, upside down crosses, the all seeing eye. Like I'm not even sleeping. I'm just fighting all these depressants. They're all meant to make me go to bed because all they wanted to do was all they said was my brain just needed time to rest because bro, it was just like going bro 100 miles an hour, just but it was a blessing in disguise being put in that mental health unit. And once I got out, I it was a slow transition, but heaps of boys that seen me at the start of my leg and man, they were just like totally different people. And while I was in that dark place, I got to a point where I wanted to take my own life. The voices, bro. Even when I still think about it now, I can still remember hearing like laying in my bed. I'm in a medical cell, 2 cameras, got a flap. I'm with no one, no connection to no one. All I can hear is screws going up and down the corridors, doctors, psychs, whatever. And I'm just trying to reach out for help. I just want to talk to someone, talk to my parents, talk to someone. And I remember I had, it was like, what, 6 months left on my leg, bro. The voice in my head, just do it. Kill yourself. You're not good enough and you're not worthy. All my life growing up, I always had this core belief that I was never good enough. For whatever reason, a little bit of abandonment I experienced when I was young. So I always kind of doubted myself, self-sabotaged myself just to, you know, reaffirm that sort of core belief that I wasn't good enough. So then when these voices started coming back, bro, it was like the devil, When I went into that psychosis, the devil invited me to come in, come in, brother, come in. And as soon as he got me, man, that was it. I was just at this dark sort of road where I knew there was a razor blade on top of my bunk, and I just fighting it. Looked at the picture of my mum and dad and my sister, and that was the only thing I could harm myself with. And I got 6 months left on my leg, bro, just trying to hold on for dear life. Got the deportation in the back of my head. I'm just facing these demons or 666 and all kinds of shit all in my cell. And I just sat there and broke down. And I said, God, if you're real, heal me, please. And just like that, the divine aid, just, bro, voices stopped like that, gone, brother, gone. And I was just like broke down and started crying and got up and just started to believe. That's when I knew. I was like, fuck, I'm gonna be sweet. I'm gonna be sweet here. Started rubbing off all the upside down crosses, and from there my journal was just, I knew I would be all right. So it was just get through my 6 months. I was still on medication, and then that lands me here in 2017. The road to redemption begins, bro.
Oh man, God
Yeah,
is good, brother. God is good.
God is
Like,
great, bro.
bro, like just painting a picture of that as well, man. Like, oh man, I couldn't imagine that, bro. Like being in a drug-induced psychosis, especially behind bars, man. Like because like I've been with people, you know what I mean, in prison, who we're getting on the gear and things like that, and it has triggered drug-induced psychosis in them, and it's just like, bro, you know what I mean? And they're walking around the unit, bro. You're trying to watch out for them, bro. You know what I mean? Like you said, they're doing violent shit, bro. You know what I mean? They think everyone's out to get them, and that they're hearing voices as well. You know what I mean? And we're trying to like look after them. You know what I mean? Because fuck,
And
what
I've,
can the
bro,
prison do? You know what I mean? Like,
I've
fuck,
I've been in the same shoes as you, bro. Being that person looking after the boys, because
yeah,
a lot of our brothers are in there are in psychosis.
bro. I
Like
know, man.
imagine a yard full of just violent men and on the drugs, and then 3 or 4 of them going to the drug induced psychosis. Oh, it's not a good place.
No, it isn't, man. It isn't. So, and it just commends you, man, to be able to come back from that, man, because a lot of boys don't. You know what I
I
mean?
don't.
Like a lot of boys. I mean, fuck, bro. Looking at you now, bro, you couldn't even imagine none of that stuff, man. You know what I mean? Because you're just
Uh,
doing so well, man. Like kicking goals, man, with Mahi, and you know what I mean, road to redemption, man. It's just, fuck, bro. What a walk you've walked, man. You know what I mean?
Thank you, brother.
So
Hey,
yeah. So
we're just getting started, brother. We're
yeah,
just
that's the thing, bro. It's still warming up, mate.
warming up, mate. We're just stretching in the changing room,
Yeah,
brothers.
cuz.
Let's
So,
go.
so yeah, man. So, how was it for you, man? Coming back and getting deported and having to go through that. So, you obviously didn't fight it, or did you want to fight it, or?
Bro, my sort of thinking around it, me and my girlfriend at the time is now my wife, was why would I go to a detention center and w- and fight it in there where I could just get out, go be free, go start mahi, go start work, start rebuilding my life. Because I see a lot of our brothers, and I don't blame them. A lot of our brothers are still in there now. Um, bro, it's a tough one. There's some of my mates that have been in
It's
there for 5 years, man. But I guess they're still holding on to that glimmer of hope. And shout out to the brothers that are
yeah,
still in the detention centers now. I hope you guys are well
yeah.
and staying strong. And I
A
hope
big
your
shout out.
cases do get overturned, and you guys do get to spend time with your families and that. Because that's an ugly sort of situation. But myself, bro, I decided, me and my partner, nah, let's go, man, straight away. It's February the 29th, sorry, March the 29th, 2017, 3 o'clock in the morning. That's my release date. Didn't sleep. As you know, straight away, Serco turned up, bro, got me straight on the plane. Yeah, bro, it was kind of a slow transition, like going from Sydney life to New Zealand life, man. It was like so slow, but Hey, God is great, man, and He works, in mysterious ways, as that cliche is, and it was just exactly what I needed. And if I backtrack a little bit to talk about my psychosis, that's exactly what I needed to go through, to be in this position now, because He was reminding me, He was telling me, dude, you went in a fucking drug induced psychosis. Do you want to still get out? And He was kind of reminding me, like, you want to get out, you're gonna do the same shit. You're either gonna come back to prison or you're gonna be dead. Those are the two options. So, like, I love you so much. You got to go through this, and those are the epiphanies and realization, that I was having while I was in this drug induced psychosis. I was breaking down so many times. Just being thankful, for God. So, if I came out and I went down the same sort of path, it's like me sort of, I'm going to be in that same predicament, prison, prison or death. But hey, I wasn't sitting in prison and got out on 2017 thinking I was going to go straight, or thought I was ever going to be walking this road to redemption, Dave. Hell no.
Mm.
I got out, man. I was still 1 foot here, 1 foot there, weighing up my options. Is it going to be risky? I was still looking at doing, some sort of shifty behavior on the side. But as I soon found out, you can't do both. Eh? It's either you got to be 100% in this sort of life, and you can't do the other. That's that's just, there's no two ways about that. And I had to go all in 2000 and again 2018, 19, early 19, when I got married in 2000 and, sorry, 2018. I got married, and then I had my daughter, and I knew I had to go all in on this sort of path, this sort of and as soon as I let go of all that sort of thinking and mindset, bro, it was just like purpose, alignment. Everything just started happening, everything just started happening for me. Started, speaking my truth and sharing my story on in the back of my car and smoker, speaking about my mental health challenges with drug addiction. Getting deported, what that's like, what I'm doing right now, that experience in jail, because I know a lot of people can benefit from that. And soon as I seen the impact of that, helping people, people DMing me saying, I was just about to go, take my life, and you shared your story about when you're in that dark place, and that sort of helped me, or through drug addiction, or partners that have someone that's going through that. So just the power of the internet, that you could share a story, and someone can get inspired and empowered, and slowly start making that change. But it's powerful, man. Why wouldn't I go down this path? So I guess that's when Road to Redemption was born, and since then I've just been chipping away, bro. Just doing my best to help inspire and empower, other humans out there to, do whatever they want to do in this life, and just empower them, bro.
Yeah, for sure, man. And especially, other deportees and things like that, because a lot of people don't realize, it is a mental, it's huge getting deported. You know what I mean?
Hundred percent.
It's a lot, it's a huge weight, you know what I mean? Even when I first came back, man, I battled, even though I didn't want to do crime anymore, I didn't want to go to prison anymore, you know what I mean? I was full self-medicating, man, you know what I mean? Drinking every day, drugs, you know what I mean? It was just, it's a huge weight to carry. And then especially the feeling of starting from scratch, man, you know what I mean? You're looking at other people and they've sort of got their lives sort of set up, man. And it's just like, man, I don't have anything, you know what I mean? Don't get me wrong, they
Mm,
made me grind harder. But
let's go all
yeah,
day.
it's just that whole mental weight that you got to carry, isn't it?
100%, bro. And that's why I was dabbling in both, because same thing. Just comparing myself to other people, people that haven't lost 5.5 years of their life, haven't been deported, So how much more beautiful and successful is the story gonna be, brother? When, like, bro, we're already doing killing it out here. Not to beat our own drums, but bro, we're doing amazing things out here. And imagine in 10 years from now, 20 years from now, we can look back, bro. We got fucking deported from Australia, bro. We just start from scratch, nothing, no handouts, no just handouts from other brothers looking out there, and bro, we made it, bro. We did it. It's a beautiful um, sort of way to sort of think about it. But don't get me wrong, it was tough, eh?
Yeah, for sure. Like, what were some of the initial steps you took, bro? Like, you took in like men's groups and things like that.
Yeah, 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 100%. So I started. My missus was doing. I was lucky when I got out. My missus had savings, and her and her my mother-in-law came over, and they got a house, they got a car, we had money, so I was pretty set. But even though I had that, I was still, dealing with the battles of comparing myself to other people, not having a job because I was studying. So what I did was I went and studied part time and did my PT certificate, personal training certificate, and then I went and volunteered my time with an initiative down here in Christchurch, Bros for Change, with Jay Puki Puki, and that was amazing, bro. Doing spending time with young people, young rangatahi, and just giving my time there. But then also, yeah, putting myself in environments and sort of little forums like Man Up group. I went and completed 12 weeks of that, and still connected with some of the boys. So that just slowly started the transition, and ever since then, went on men's medicine sort of walk with the brothers, and connecting with brothers like Matt Brown and his movement with Shoes Not Your Rehab, just being around other men and sharing your sort of journey, and it's a powerful thing. I just thought of the last Shoes Not Rehab I went into last year, and there was a guy that he was just fresh from being deported. So I'm here sitting thinking like, man, I used to be that guy. That was me 3, 4 years ago. But now I'm able to give him some sort of advice or suggestions on sort of what helped me. And that's a powerful thing to do, man. Just help other brothers who have been in similar predicaments, and help them, start getting back on their feet, man. But it's tough, and I don't blame any of the boys, man. That the revolving door. A lot of my mates, I could say a lot of them have been in and out since being deported, or still in the game, and it's tough once you get here and you have no support, man. It's just easy to revert back to old ways and click up to the gang and get up to no good. But that life only leads us down two paths, and jail and death.
Yeah, for sure, man. And looking back now, man, it really took me that divine guidance and that divine strength to not join a gang. You know what I mean? To
Mm,
not do all of those things, man. It took real willpower. You know what I mean? Not to do that, because
100%,
it's
man.
just when you get deported, it's like that's the option. You know what I mean? If you ain't got money and stuff like that, like, oh, this is it's almost nothing else, man. You know what I mean? So I always tell people, really, if you are coming back to New Zealand, really be prepared. You know what I mean? Be
100%,
prepared to dig in, to dig deep, man. You know what I mean? To look for that inner strength, because you're gonna need it. You know what I mean?
for sure.
Don't get me wrong, I had a little bit of support here as well, but it still was tough. So much love to all of the brothers that do come back here with nothing, mate. That come back here sitting in a lodge and have to go through all of that, and are still able to go to mahi. You know what I mean? Go to work,
Mm.
and especially with the wage differences, man. You know what I mean? You
Oh,
you can
massive, eh?
feel that. You know what I mean? So big shout out to all of the brothers that are grinding, mate. That are going hard, man. Because we're all grinding together, man. We're all doing it
100%.
together. And bro, definitely recommend those men's groups. You know, what I mean, any sort of, man up. They're good. They're around. Just any sort of men's groups. A lot of church runs them, man. It's a lifesaver as well. You know what I mean? Just to be able to
Sure.
sit around with a couple of boys, man, have a coffee, just have a chat. It's just it works wonders. Like after we connected and that, that was one of the first things I started doing, was going to man up, having a yarn with the boys, being able to share, and be listened to. So, man, what's the plans, man? What's going on for you at the moment, man? I know you've been doing a lot, man, in your space, especially with Mahi, bro. So what have you been doing for Mahi and with Road to Redemption and all those things?
Yeah, so 2018 landed my or 2019 I started. I got my first full time role. First time I've got full contract employment in my life, and that was age 28, and I'm into my fourth year of my carpentry apprenticeship with South-based labour, South-based construction, and they're helping me with building Road to Redemption into a charitable trust. So just going through the process now, just waiting for it to be registered. Should be in the next couple of weeks. Been waiting. Feels like I've been waiting for
Mm,
ages. But I know it's a process, and with Road to Redemption. I've started, as I said, when I started sharing my truth, I started getting invited out to mental health and well-being days of organisations, and going out and speaking in front of schools, and going out and speaking in a youth justice centre out here, and lending my time to limited service volunteer LSV program, where I go and do the intakes every 8 weeks, I think it is. And just, man, but the heart, the soul gets so full, man. Going in and sharing my journey, and just telling them about what was spoken about my journey, about my mental health battles. I know what it's like being 22, unemployed, being on drugs, joining gangs. And I just share my experience. And for myself, it's all about just planting seeds. We're not going to change everyone, but we can plant little seeds in their brains that they too can sort of make positive changes in their life. Road to Redemption, as soon as we set up that trust, as soon as it gets registered, working and developing an app with my company, South-Based Construction. The app is Road to Redemption app, which is going to help our brothers and sisters and our youth reintegrate back into the community. A little app where they can navigate, find social services, find accommodation, financial support. It's just going to be that's the sort of how we're sort of drafting this app. So, because I know what it's like, and you know what it's like when you get out. Hey, docs, even just trying to find like wins or support like that, is like, get so frustrated just trying to, Google and stuff. So that's the thinking behind the Road to Redemption app. You can link up with mentors and stuff like that. And then that's our sort of midterm goal. Short-term goal, still doing my talks around the country through the construction industry, as construction industry is probably like one of the top two sectors or industries with the highest rate of suicide, obviously being a lot of factors of being a male-dominated sort of industry, and your big drinking culture, and that stigma behind being men and masculinity, that you shut up and get on with the job. So I'm doing, got a number of talks lined up with my company, and so that's sort of our short-term goal. But long-term goal is build redemption houses, build Road to Redemption houses where brothers can get accommodation when they get out of prison. Obviously, roll out a sort of program like a rent, they earn minimum security, so they can do the redemption program. So when they do get out, they have accommodation. They can find work. They can get upskilled. They can find work, get it educated, and sort of just give them a different option.
Man, my doko here, man, Mark Talanoa, man, big love and big respect for this guy, man, again. This dude was pivotal, you know what I mean, in what I'm doing now, and being able to build this platform, and now all of the other things that I've got planned as well, for this. It's much love, brother. You know what I mean? Much respect.
Likewise, bro.
Yeah,
Feelings mutual, Dave, man. I appreciate you, and man, I just love the mahi you're doing, and just seeing the transformation, bro, from 3 years ago to now, man. Like the whole mindset, though, you're a totally different person.
yeah.
And that's big ups to you, man. You'll put in the time, you'll put in the effort, you've made the changes. So, nah, man, it's all love and respect.
Yeah, man. Much love, bro. I'll talk again soon anyway.
Appreciate you, Doc. Much love.